My wife told our neighbor I married down. Everyone knows it but him. When I confronted her, she just smirked. Well, it's not a lie. I smiled back, then froze the cards, transferred the lease, and blocked her number. She was gone by sunset. Hey viewers, real quick, only 8% of you watching are subscribed, and the channel's kind of stuck right now. If you enjoy these stories, hitting that subscribe button would really help us keep going. Thanks. Tuesday afternoon, I got back from the job site early. Plumbing emergency at the construction site got resolved faster than expected. So instead of staying until 6, I pulled into our driveway at 3:30. My wife Claire's car was there along with our neighbor Janet's silver Honda. They were probably having their usual afternoon coffee session on the back patio. Claire worked part-time as a dental hygienist and was usually home by 2. I grabbed my lunch cooler from the truck and headed toward the front door when I heard voices from the backyard. Loud enough to carry but not quite shouting. Decided to walk around back and say hello. I mean, let's be honest here, Claire was saying as I approached. I married down and everyone knows it but him. I stopped walking. Janet's voice responded, but I couldn't make out the words clearly. Come on, Janet. Look at what I brought to this marriage versus what he did. I've got my degree, I come from a good family, I know how to handle myself in social situations. He's a construction foreman who never finished college. I stood there in my work clothes, covered in dust and holding my lunch cooler, listening to my wife of 4 years explain to our neighbor why she was too good for me. But he seems like a good provider, Janet said. Oh sure, he brings home decent money, but there's more to life than a paycheck. When we go to my friends, dinner parties or work events, I have to constantly manage what he says so he doesn't embarrass me. Manage what I say, like I was a child who couldn't be trusted in public. Does he know you feel this way? Janet asked. Of course not. He thinks everything's fine. Honestly, sometimes I wonder what I was thinking when I married him. My parents tried to warn me, but I thought love would be enough. Love would be enough. Past tense, I'd heard enough. Walked back to my truck, sat there for 10 minutes organizing my thoughts, then went inside through the front door like I'd just arrived. Hey babe, I'm home early, I called out. Oh hi honey, Claire said, coming in from the patio. How was work? Good, got done early. I heard voices outside. You have company? Just Janet. We were catching up over coffee. Catching up. That's what she called trashing her husband to the neighbors. Cool, I'm going to shower and then maybe we can grab dinner somewhere nice. Sounds good. I'll finish up with Janet and start getting ready. I went upstairs and immediately started making calls. First was to my lawyer, Bob Martinez, who'd handled the house purchase and my business incorporation. Bob, it's Dan. I need to ask you something. If Claire and I got divorced, how would property division work? That's a complex question. Why? You two having problems? Just want to understand my situation. Well, the house was yours before marriage, so that's separate property in our state. Your business predates the marriage too. She'd have a claim on assets accumulated during the 4 years of marriage, but you've lived pretty simply. What about spousal support? She works. You've only been married 4 years, and her dental hygienist salary is decent, probably minimal if any. Thanks, Bob. Can you start preparing separation papers, just in case? Dan, are you sure? Maybe you should think about this for a few days. I'm sure. How long would it take? Few days minimum. I'll need detailed asset information. I'll get that to you tomorrow. Next call was to my bank. We had a joint checking account, and Claire was an authorized user on my credit cards. I need to understand my options for protecting my accounts if my marriage ends. Are you filing for divorce? Separation. I need to know what I can legally do. You can remove authorized users from your personal credit cards immediately. For joint accounts, you'd need to either close them or get spousal agreement to remove someone. What about opening new individual accounts? You can open individual accounts anytime. We'd recommend that for people going through separation. Let me think about it and I'll call back. I needed to be smart about this. Couldn't just freeze everything without proper legal backing. Claire came upstairs as I was finishing the calls. Ready for dinner? She asked. Almost. Hey, before we go, I wanted to ask you something. What's that? How do you really feel about our marriage? She looked surprised. What do you mean? I mean, are you happy? Do Do you feel like we're well matched? Of course, why would you ask that? Just making sure we're on the same page. We are. Everything's fine. Everything's fine. While she's telling neighbors she married down. We went to dinner at a nice restaurant downtown, made pleasant conversation, talked about work, discussed weekend plans. Claire seemed relaxed, completely unaware that I'd overheard her real feelings. After we got home, she went upstairs to get ready for bed. I sat in the kitchen thinking about what I'd learned and what I wanted to do about it. Around 11, I went upstairs and found Claire reading in bed. Claire, I need to tell you something. What's that? I heard your conversation with Janet today. Her face went white. What conversation? The one where you explained how you married down and how I embarrass you at social events. She stared at me for about 10 seconds, probably trying to figure out how much I'd heard and what explanation would work. Then something interesting happened. Instead of denying it or trying to apologize, she just shrugged. Well, it's not a lie. The audacity was breathtaking. No shame, no remorse, just confirmation that everything she'd said was exactly how she felt. So you think you married down? I mean, look at us objectively, Dan. I have a college degree, you dropped out of high school and got your GED later. I come from a professional family, yours are blue collar. I can handle myself in any social situation. You get uncomfortable when people talk about anything beyond sports or work. Interesting perspective. I'm not trying to be mean, but you asked. We're just from different backgrounds. You're right, we are from different worlds. I smiled at her, really smiled, like she'd just told me something helpful. Thanks for being honest. She looked confused by my reaction. You're not upset? Not at all. I appreciate knowing how you really feel. Oh, okay then. We went to sleep like it was any other night, but I was already planning my next moves. The next few days, strategic planning. Wednesday morning, after Claire left for work, I called Bob back. I want to move forward with separation papers. Also, I need to understand what I can legally do to protect my assets. Slow down, Dan. What happened? She confirmed everything I suspected. Thinks she married beneath her, is embarrassed by me in social situations. The whole thing. That's hurtful, but not grounds for immediate asset protection unless you think she's planning to drain accounts. I don't think she's planning anything financial. I just want to be prepared. Here's what you can legally do. Remove her as authorized user on your personal credit cards, open individual accounts, and document all current assets. But you can't freeze joint accounts or force her out of the house without proper legal process. How long for separation papers? Give me until Friday. I'll include a request for temporary exclusive use of the marital home. What are the chances of getting that? If she agrees to leave voluntarily, no problem. If she fights it, could take weeks. Thursday, I spent the evening documenting everything. Bank accounts, credit cards, property values, business assets. Claire noticed me working on paperwork but didn't ask questions. Friday afternoon, Bob called. Papers are ready. How do you want to handle serving them? I'll give them to her directly, see how she reacts. Dan, be careful. Some people get vindictive when served with divorce papers. I don't think Claire will. She's pretty practical. That evening, I decided to have the conversation. Claire, can we talk? Sure. What's up? I've been thinking about what you said Tuesday night, about us being from different worlds. Okay? I think you're right. We probably aren't as compatible as we thought. She looked surprised. What are you saying? I'm saying maybe we should consider separation. Give us both a chance to find people who are better matches. Dan, I didn't mean I wanted to end our marriage. I was just being honest about our differences. I know, and I appreciate that honesty. It made me realize we both deserve to be with people who don't see our backgrounds as problems. I don't see your background as a problem. You told Janet you married down and that I embarrass you in social situations. That sounds like you see it as a problem. I was just venting frustrations. All couples have things that annoy them about each other. Being embarrassed by your spouse isn't a normal frustration, Claire. It's a fundamental compatibility issue. I handed her the separation papers. What is this? Legal separation agreement. I think we should try living apart for a while and see how we feel. She read through the first page. You want me to move out? I think it would be good for both of us to have some space. Where am I supposed to go? Your parents? Your sister? A rental? You've got options. Dan, this is crazy. I don't want a separation. Why not? If you think you married down, wouldn't you be happier with someone more compatible with your education and social background? I never said I was unhappy. You said you sometimes wonder what you were thinking when you married me. That sounds like regret. I was just having a moment of doubt. Everyone has those. Not everyone tells their neighbors about them. She read more of the papers. You're asking for exclusive use of the house? It's my house. I owned it before we got married. But I live here too. And you can keep living here if you want to work on our marriage. But if you really think we're incompatible, then separation makes sense. I don't want to be separated. Then we need to address the fundamental issue of you being embarrassed by me and thinking you married beneath yourself. I can work on that. Claire, you can't work on finding your husband embarrassing. Either you respect who I am or you don't. She stared at the papers for a long time. How long do I have to decide? Take the weekend. Let me know Monday. Monday, decision time. Sunday night, Claire tried to convince me to tear up the papers and forget the whole thing. She promised to be more supportive, to stop caring about social differences, to appreciate what we had together. But the damage was done. I'd heard how she really felt about me when she thought I wasn't listening. That kind of fundamental disrespect doesn't just go away because you get caught. Monday morning, she came downstairs with 2 suitcases. I'll stay at my sister's for a while, but I want you to know I think this is a mistake. Maybe, but I'd rather make a mistake than stay married to someone who thinks they settled for less. I never said I settled for less. You said you married down. Same thing. Dan, I love you. You love the life I provided. There's a difference. She loaded her car and drove away. I went to work like any other day. That afternoon, my credit card company called. Mr. Roberts, we had a large purchase attempt on your card that was declined. The cardholder says she's your wife? She is, but I removed her authorization last week. The purchase should have been declined. It was. Just wanted to confirm this was intentional. Completely intentional. Apparently Claire had tried to buy something and discovered her cards weren't working. She called me an hour later. Dan, my credit cards aren't working. I removed you as an authorized user. When? Last week, part of the separation process. How am I supposed to pay for things? With your own money, you have a job and your own bank account. But what about groceries and gas and everything else? What about them? You're an adult with an income. I can't afford to maintain the same lifestyle on just my salary. Then adjust your lifestyle. This is vindictive. This is practical. We're separated. You need to support yourself. Dan, please, let's work this out. We can work it out when you decide if you want to be married to someone you think you're too good for. 3 weeks later, reality sets in. Claire tried calling several times over the next few weeks. I answered occasionally to discuss practical matters like mail forwarding and her remaining belongings. Her sister called me after week 2. Dan, Claire is really struggling. She can't afford an apartment on her salary and she's too proud to move back in with our parents. That's unfortunate. She realizes she made a mistake. Can't you give her another chance? The mistake wasn't what she said to Janet. The mistake was thinking I wouldn't find out how she really feels about me. She was just being dramatic. You know how Claire gets sometimes. I know exactly how Claire gets. That's the problem. She loves you. She loves what I represented. Security, stability, someone to manage while she focused on finding people worthy of her education. That's not fair. Neither is being married to someone who's embarrassed by you. Week 3. Claire showed up my job site. Dan, we need to talk. I'm working, Claire. This is important. So is my job. Please. Just 5 minutes. I told my crew to take a break and walked over to her car. What do you want? I want to come home. I've learned my lesson about taking you for granted. What lesson is that? That I was wrong to focus on our differences instead of appreciating what we had together. And what did we have together? A good life, a partnership, love. We had a life where you pretended to respect me while secretly thinking you married down. I don't think that anymore. You think it less now that you're living on your own income? That's not why. Claire, the only thing that's changed is your financial situation. You didn't suddenly realize you respect me. You realized you can't afford to leave me. That's not true. When you were living in my house, spending money from my accounts, you told Janet you sometimes wonder what you were thinking when you married me. Now that you're paying your own rent, suddenly you remember what you were thinking. She didn't have an answer for that. I miss our life together. You miss the comfortable life I provided while you figured out if you could do better. I don't want to do better. I want you. You want what I provide. There's still a difference. I walked back to the job site. She sat in her car for another 10 minutes before leaving. 2 months later, the final decision. The separation became permanent. Claire signed the divorce papers after her lawyer explained that fighting would be expensive and unlikely to change the outcome significantly. She found a small apartment she could afford and started working more hours at the dental office. Last I heard, she was dating someone she met through a friend, another college graduate who knows about wine and can handle himself at dinner parties. Good for her. Hope she appreciates having someone who meets her educational standards. I kept the house, the business, and my self-respect. Started dating Maria, who's a teacher at the local elementary school. She thinks it's impressive that I built a successful construction business and owns my own house. She's never once suggested I need to be managed in social situations. The best part was running into Claire at the grocery store last month. She was buying generic brands and checking prices carefully, quite a change from her previous shopping habits. She saw me and started to come over, but I just nodded politely and continued shopping. Sometimes the best revenge is just letting people experience the natural consequences of their choices. Claire wanted to find someone more worthy of her superior education and refined social background. Now she gets to enjoy her educated lifestyle on her own income, while I enjoy my life with someone who doesn't think they're doing me a favor by being married to me. Turns out, when someone tells you they think they married down, the best response is to help them find their way back up. Without you.